So what Health Canada is doing, and understand I've been a lawyer for 29 years, and for that full 29 years, I've been assisting natural health product companies stay on the market. And Health Canada has hated the industry from day one. And in my opinion, from day one, their goal has been to extinguish the industry and put us fully into the chemical drug model, which is what is happening. And we can sell ginger tea as a food, but if you put on there, you know, helps with nausea, then all of a sudden they literally now will want us to go through double-blind clinical trials. But here's how you know it's not about health,
Mm-hmm.
because the messaging will always be, well, you need to be protected with stricter regulation. But whenever you bring in stricter regulation, you lose products. And they don't do a health analysis to say, well, what's the risk of taking natural health products off the market? Because what's going to happen with this self-care framework is we're actually going to lose most of our products. And we're going to lose those products that our natural health practitioners, like naturopathic doctors and homeopaths and traditional Chinese practitioners, use.
Yeah.
Most of the products they use to treat us are going to be taken away. Well, what's the health consequence of that? Here's the game: is our chemical pharmaceutical drugs, be they prescription or be they over the counter,
Mm-hmm.
are so incredibly dangerous that three of the five leading causes of death in most Western liberal democracies are connected to the use of chemical pharmaceutical drugs. I remember seeing one risk analysis that broke down, our risks based on 10-year categories, so age 0 to 10, 11 to 20. And in that risk analysis, for every age group except one, the most dangerous thing you could do would be to drive to your medical doctor's office,
Oh
because
God.
you would be likely to be given a prescription for a chemical drug. Like, don't create a system, and the system's deliberately designed to take these products away, and that's the end goal. Internationally, there's a movement to make it easier to get prescription drugs onto the market, or chemical drugs onto the market,
Mm-hmm.
and more difficult for us to continue to use natural remedies.
Okay.
So we've got it, we're going in two directions. We're making it easier for the chemical drugs, which carry extremely high risk and
Right.
are very, very poor at managing chronic illness. And we're
Yes.
making it harder for natural health products, which are so extremely safe that
Yeah.
even to have a safety discussion makes no sense. Well, let's talk about, the natural health product EM Power Plus. I mean, when Health Canada tried to take it off the market, they ordered the company to stop selling, and the company wouldn't. And the company had doctors and psychiatrists and people whose very lives depended on the product contact Health Canada. I mean, we've got copies of all their letters because there were criminal charges. They had to give
What
it
was
to
the
us to
product?
close
I
it.
didn't catch it. What did you say?
Empower Plus. It's to
Oh,
treat serious bipolar disorder and major depressive disorder.
oh, okay.
It's most likely the most effective product in the world for that.
And is it a natural product? I've never
Yeah, it's
heard of it.
vitamins and minerals. It's
Okay.
licensed in Canada as a vitamin mineral supplement. A lot of people just take it as a daily vitamin. But
Okay.
in the right dose and managed, with expertise to manage you,
Yeah.
it's like if I got bipolar disorder or anyone close to me, that I'm sorry, we're taking that. We're not taking your lithium or other drugs. But the point
Right.
that we're talking about recall. So Health
Yeah.
Canada orders them to stop selling it. At this time, they don't have the power to order a recall. And True Hope responds by actually having psychiatrists and doctors and people whose very lives depended on the product that were only managing themselves. All the approved psychiatric drugs didn't work for them. Basically, say you can't take this away or there'll be death.
Yeah.
And then because the company didn't comply, the products manufactured in the U.S. and crosses the border, Health Canada started seizing shipments, and then the deaths happened. The Canadian Mental Health Association, every time one of their members died, would hold a press conference in order to try and shame Health Canada to relent and allow the
Uh-huh.
product on the market.
Uh-huh.
And eventually Health Canada did. The Minister of Health and Government of Canada at the time, it was a Liberal government, couldn't stand all these press conferences happening every time someone died. You don't give bureaucrats
Yeah.
without health training the ability to make decisions that are in effect health decisions, whether or not somebody can access a product. True Hope Power Plus, I mean, which again is just a vitamin mineral supplement, but it came about because one of the founders of the company, his wife had severe bipolar disorder, and like one of her parents and one of her grandparents committed suicide.
Mm.
And two of his children, one of his adult children, was one of these people that was in and out of psych wards and voluntarily committed. And once you're in that cohort, I mean, if you live 5 years, you're lucky. So what
Wow.
happens is you're manic, and then you're depressive. She's rapid cycling bipolar. Because you become suicidal, they involuntarily commit you to the psych ward. They put you on a new drug cocktail that which so dopes you up that you're
Mm.
drooling over yourself 24 hours a day. And so you'll be there for months until you're so used to it that maybe you're only drooling over yourself 12 hours a day. And you'll
Mhm.
be on 24-hour suicide watch when you're released. And eventually your body will get accustomed to the new drug cocktail, and bang, you break out your manic and then depressive and suicidal, and you get recommitted. That was her life. And these
Mm.
people don't live long once you hit that stage. And one
Yeah.
of his sons was in high school, 17, and the doctor was trying to manage his bipolar on the mainstream drug for it, lithium, and it
Mm.
was just not being effective, and it looked like he would have to be institutionalized, and it's breaking his heart. And so him and this other gentleman just decide, well, they were both on a church property board, um, and the other gentleman was an animal nutritionist, and so they're inspecting some church property, and the animal nutritionist asks, well, how are you doing? And we're like, do you really want to know it? And so Tony's just venting, like, here's what's
Mhm.
happening with my daughter, here's what's happening with my son. And when he's describing his son who would rage, the animal nutritionist said, I don't know anything about human nutrition, but what you're describing with your son reminds me of ear and tail biting syndrome in pigs, where they just rage.
Mhm.
And when that happens, we know it's a nutritional deficiency. We substitute the feed with vitamins and minerals, and 100% of the time we extinguish the behavior. And the
Wow.
idea occurred to both of them. I wonder if there could be a nutritional basis to mental health.
Of
So they
course.
just started researching all the published research on nutrition and mental health. They spent a long time researching and came up with okay, you need this vitamin in this amount,
Mhm.
you need this
Yeah.
mineral in this amount, and
Yeah.
developed a protocol, and it ended up with a product that works.
That's fascinating and something very needed. Look at the overdiagnosis of anxiety
But,
amongst teenagers
but,
and stuff. Mhm.
but let's talk about what Health Canada is doing as part of this self-care framework. So
Mhm.
they're going to start charging companies these fees to be able to sell products and to be able to manufacture. It's going to be putting a whole bunch of companies out of business and raising the prices of the products that survive. And Health Canada, right in their Canada Gazette publication about we're going to impose these fees, they say, oh, but don't worry, we're going to use these fees to hire new inspectors. And one of the things they're going to do is censor truthful health information. So this company, True Hope, that makes this product for bipolar disorder,
Mhm.
Anita, there are 35 peer-reviewed, published research articles on Power Plus, all funded by governments around the world. So the company hasn't funded a single one. It's just governments have noticed it's so cotton picking effective that
Mhm.
governments have funded research into the product. And we're talking about research published in blue chip journals like Journal of Psychiatry, Journal of Child and Adolescent Psychopharmacology. Like
Mhm.
there's serious research. Well, True Hope used to have links to those articles on their website
Mhm.
because of this new censorship, because Health Canada takes the position you can't share truthful research. They've had
Mm.
to take it down because another thing that's happened is with the federal budget bill, they've increased the penalties on natural health products to match the penalties for the chemical companies like Pfizer's. So
Okay.
before the maximum penalty was
That's crazy.
$5,000, now it's $5 million a day, and so now we're getting strict censorship. When Health Canada went, toured the country giving, presentations on how this was going to work, they made it clear we are not going to license any products that truly aren't self-care. If you're going to see a healthcare practitioner to get advice, that type of product we are not licensing. So the products that the healthcare practitioners use are not going to be available, and we're going to lose those healing traditions. So do you see this picture, this guy that where he's holding? No, that picture there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the chair of the Standing Committee on Health in the House of Commons. So the Standing Committee of Health is a all-party committee that
Mm-hmm.
deals with health issues. They called a special meeting and forced 3 Health Canada executives to come and answer questions over the regulation of natural health products. He's holding up our postcards that people have sent him.
Okay.
He says there's a whole bunch more back at his office, and every MP on that committee made it clear
Uh-huh.
that they're getting swamped with these postcards and calls and demands for visits. They have not seen such pressure in like 10 years. So our
Fantastic.
campaign's already working, but those
Good.
postcards and all of that, it costs money.
Yeah.
And we this is life and death. You don't want to be in a chemical drug model. And we
No.
need people to support us because we're actually trying to create a monthly budget. And even if it's 25, $50 a month,
Mm-hmm.
please subscribe to like the monthly thing for a year and volunteer. But the exciting thing, Anita, is we
Mm-hmm.
can win this. Like we can win this. We
Yeah.
just we just need everyone to get involved.